Welcome back to the Lanterne Rouge Cycling Podcast, the recap of Stage 3 of the Tour Auvergne Rhône-Alpes, formerly known as the Dauphiné. We're finally at the TTT. Had two stages where there's been some shadow boxing, but this is a stage that everyone was really focusing on first, and it's a tricky TT from Peru to Peru. It is hilly, and that makes this 28k TT difficult to manage, difficult to pace, 400 meters of elevation gain. And it's in 3 different climbs. So they start flat, then they do a 5k 3.5% climb with the first bits at 6%. T1's at the top of that. Fast descent. Well, not actually, incorrect. Technical descent, then very technical, in fact. Then another climb that's like, I don't know, false flat uphill, 1k 5% at the end. T2 is there. Then a very fast like false flat downhill for 12 kilometers. They average way over 60 k's an hour in that section. And then the final climb is 800 meters, 6.3%. You enter it in a dead turn, 270-degree turn into that kicker. And also it's steepest, like quite at the start. So you got to take that corner well. It took about a minute and a half to do that final 800 meters, I think, maybe a minute 40. What was the round? We heard from Thomas Benji that like the descent was looked at as potentially unsafe on the TTT bikes in the wet. Perhaps that could be. Luckily, we had dry conditions today.
Yeah, for sure. And to be honest, when I saw the descent first time around in a team time trial, it's a bit different than a individual time trial, because in a team time trial, you can't necessarily adapt to your own tempo. You got to try and follow the team. But we're lucky that we did not see any major accidents today, which is the good outcome here. But we usually go straight into the results, so I propose we do that. The winner of today's team time trial is Visma bike. They have a time of 32 minutes and 52 seconds, and that is 9 seconds faster than Netcompany INEOS. We'll talk about the dynamic between these two teams as soon as possible, but first I want to continue. 20 seconds behind INEOS, we've got EF, which means that Baudin does keep the yellow jersey after the stage. Then we have Little Trek, who is 32 seconds behind Visma bike, and then it continues with Red Bull, Decathlon, Movistar, Jayco, UAE Team Emirates, and Bahrain. But on Decathlon, how much time do they lose here? That is 37 plus 8 is 45 seconds to Visma bike. It's not the greatest team time trial by Decathlon, right?
No, and it's because of the hills, because their two best TT riders are Dan Holer and Stefan Bissiger. And so it's very tricky and complicated to know exactly how you're going to pace these hills, because ideally, do you go slow enough that you have Bissiger for the false flat 12Ks? But if you go too slow, you just lose too much time. If you go in the middle, maybe you go kind of slow and you drop him anyway if he's on a bad day. Maybe he's on a magic day and you can get him over and he can still pull. It's really hard to know a strategy here when you have a course like this, which is why I quite like the course.
Now, if I look at the specific way they rode it on parkour, it did look like Sixas was taking the climbs on pretty notably when it comes to the tempo, where at some point, Sixas went to the back of the row and then Holer put his hand out and did the calma kind of vibe with his hand. And to me, that looked like Holer was telling Sixas to calm down a little bit because he was going too fast at the front. Did you read the same into that, or am I imagining things?
Exactly. It was either that or like he was surging. Either way, it was Dan Holer telling him to relax. And that's where, like, I think UAE, for example, they just pulled with Del Toro a lot. They just really pulled with him a lot. Although looks like they're trying to keep Vermarke in GC, which was
that was so confusing to me.
Bizarre.
Like, on one end, Almeida is not in form here. We know that already.
No,
so
Almeida just pulled and dropped.
Yeah, he's not a GC right here. That's fine. But the fact that they start the last climb and go individual for Del Toro and Vermarke, because the last climb is the indicator, right? Every single team wants to get their GC rider to the final climb or the GC riders to the final climb. And the fact that Vermarke did not just do massive pulls before that final climb, but genuinely try to go for his best possible time in a kind of 1v1 of the last climb against Del Toro, shouts to me that they want to keep Vermarke in GC, which I think that's brave with the parkour that we have in this race. I don't see the value in that, if I'm being honest. Vermarke for me is domestique.
100%. I mean, that Col du Pré stage is crazy hard. Like, it starts with a 30-minute 9% climb. I think UAE with Kevin Vermaak again. Unfortunately, to give them props, I know I have to drop the bit sometimes. Like with Kosnefra, they've done a great signing with Vermaak, and he is improving there, and they've looked like they have quite a good rider. And I'm telling you now, Kevin Vermaak is probably going to be in their Tour de France team next year.
Yeah,
I think.
Is there a world in which he's in the Tour de France team this year?
I think he could be a reserve. I think he could ride himself in. I mean, if I'm trying to think,
his level's good.
He's better than Sivakov right now.
Like, yeah, for sure.
Not close.
I agree. I would pick Vermaak over Sivakov for the Tour de France.
So Kevin Vermaak is showing himself in a good way, but it is still weird that he's not doing a death pull for Del Toro on the final climb. That was the strange part. And so we saw different strategies. This episode is brought to you by Join Cycling. We heard that bike computers, their size might be under threat soon in UCI races. You don't need to worry about that with Join Cycling because they now have the auto sync feature. Their workouts that are in your plan automatically appear on Garmin's, Wahoo's, in Zwift, and in Hammerhead. There's no exporting files, wondering whether your intervals have actually synced before you head out the door. You have your training that day. It's on your phone. Bang. It's on your bike computer as you roll out to... I've never before joined cycling. I never trained outdoors with something like this because they make it so easy. Like I would like memorize the training plan, but not have it on the bike computer. And they've just... A new feature they've put in like this just reduces another barrier to getting your training done. That's why we love working with Join Cycling. It's not a static program. It's not a static tool. It's constantly adding new features. So if you want structured training without the guesswork, try Join. Use the link in the episode description. I know many of you have signed up after the Giro, after Vingegaard being aggressive on that final stage, created a crazy discount. That's obviously finished now, but I wanted to, update you on these new features that Join keep introducing. So go to Join, use the link in the show notes down below so Join knows we sent you. And if you're already using, like many of you are, like thousands of you are, actually check out the auto sync feature to your bike computer. Okay, let me just finish the UAE thought. I think UAE do an okay time for the squad they have. Almeida's sick. They have no... Remember we went through last night, Benji? We did truck watch. We said who's got trucks? Who's got trucks?
That's true.
Who's got trucks that can pass a hill? UAE
exactly.
got no
Past
trucks.
2 hills.
Past 2 hills.
And even the thing with Decathlon, for example, is that one of the trucks didn't make it, Bissiger. Holo was the big truck. Like, you looked at their actual team on the road, and Dan Holo was twice the size than all the other riders combined.
He got no draft.
Well, he got no drop, but he's giving a lot to the rest of the teams. And that's where the value lies for Dan Holo in this team time trial, and that's where they got it out of him as well. But to go beyond Decathlon and UAE here for a second, I do want to go to the top 2 teams because those are very relevant ones to talk about. And I want to start off with Netcompany INEOS because they were looking fantastic their entire team time trial. I'm talking best time here, best time there, beating Visma, EF, and so forth at every single time check. Then they get, just before they hit the final hill, Oscar Onley's chain drops off. How much time do you think they lost there? And could they have won the stage if that does not happen? Because the gap is what? 9 seconds at the finish?
9 seconds and change. I think it cost them the stage.
I think so too.
Because maybe you can do some calculation that they technically lose 7 seconds in speed. The disruption, the mental effect, the just change in your physical, like what's happening to your body afterwards, it's got to be worth 10 seconds. It has to be. They also lost Sam Watson to the same mechanical issue 5 minutes before.
Now, to me, mentally, it's shit for the Dauphiné that this happens. Let's be clear about that. But on the other hand, this Dauphiné team time trial is for 90% of these teams mostly trying to figure out if everything's looking fine for the team time trial at the Tour de France. Because it's the dress rehearsal. Is that a nice way to say it? Because Netcompany INEOS can take from this stage that if Only's mechanical does not happen, they probably win the team time trial. So their setup and pacing plan and whatever looks pretty fantastic for the Tour de France, for example. Now,
the problem's the one by.
They're Shimano, right?
Shimano, they use Shimano one by, and I think that they had the chain drops, right?
Good.
Luke knows better. He said, like, Luke, are they not supposed to run one by? Like, it's something you can do. Like, I used to do this all the time with Shimano. Like, when I would always I was like spin to win before it was cool. And I would get massive cassettes and just like put a derailleur and use a 32 cassette on a derailleur that's only supposed to go to 28 cassette. And it just worked, or you just had to be careful with it. I think you can do it one by, but you got to be careful with it. Or I don't know.
Maybe this is a dumb question. I'm pretty sure the one by they had in the team time trial had one of those chain guards.
Yeah. But then I think that was making it harder to get back on because it was an outside chain drop, which you can get back on. But I think the chain guard was almost... Anyway, they had 2 drop chains, maybe from the descent.
Was the second rider?
First Watson, second Onley.
Yeah. And the funny thing with Watson to me was that when he had his mechanical, Geraint Thomas jumps out of the car and just stares at him.
Just oral farming.
It's so funny. Probably just to like say, calm down, there's no point in hurrying anymore. But it was really funny though.
I think INEOS will go into the Tour as TTT favorites if they have Ganna in, Kwiatkowski in, and you assume no mechs. Probably good for them that they have the mechs here and then they sort it out for the Tour. They would have probably won this TTT. But then on the Visma side, Van Aert, he drops in between the 2 hills, I think, after like 9 minutes.
Whoa.
First rider to drop. So that's like...
Poor form.
Yeah, not near
it's
the
not even
level,
the crash.
Not near the level one would expect.
So he's got some work to do before the Tour de France. We'll see if he gets to that required level for that. But when it comes to the rest of the team, I'm pretty sure Tollett had a mechanical in the downhill as well. Oh no, future Jonas Vingegaard has dropped out of GC, Patrick.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's sabotage, but we don't know where Benji was on that descent. Trying to prove me wrong. He might have gone to the yellow jersey today. So Benji wants to prove me wrong. Nah, he has a rear flat, like he did yesterday, in fact. So Visma are also having issues, some self-imposed perhaps, and then one like with the Tullett mechanical. They lose another rider there, so they got Nordhagen. So who was it? Let's do like who was it versus? So Armirel, Affini, Hagenez against Tarling, De Plus, Vauquelin, Godon, and Jorgensen. It was pretty even. Like my mental model of the two, Net Company and Visma, was like it was pretty even in terms of truck ability, and yeah,
and both teams had issues. The Watson mechanical matters a lot in a team time trial, I believe.
Yes,
but on the other hand, it's weird because like Watson is a goated prologue rider. Wout van Aert is a solid team time trialist. If both are in top form at a team time trial, Watson is not that big. It's not like he's like a giant hauler kind of draft king either, you know?
Well, I think Watson makes it. I think Watson makes a big difference. He passes the hill easily, and then you got another guy to smash the flat.
Peak Watson versus peak Wout van Aert on a team time trial? I pick Wout.
Yeah, but it's like one's a mech, one's bad shape.
I agree. I fully agree there. I'm just trying to on paper team strength kind of vibe.
Watson versus the Tullett mech. Like Watson's a bigger loss. Tullett still makes a difference. You're losing another rider, but Watson's like 15 kilos heavier. So
yeah, for sure.
It makes a difference. Anyway, let me do the intermediate time splits. So at T1, Net Company were indeed the quickest. So that was on the slowest section of the course. That was 45 k's an hour. They were 3 seconds or 2.5 seconds ahead of Visma. EF was smashing it. So then there was a gap. So it really was 2 ahead of everybody else. EF were 11 seconds behind INEOS at that point. At T2, so if I go T1 to T2, EF were quickest. I think EF went too quick here. And it's also maybe the pacing strategy they had to have, because when you look at the weight of the EF team, they're lacking trucks too. They don't have the 80 kilo Affinis, Tarlings. And so they just opted, it seems, intentionally or otherwise, to smash the hill zone, which they did a very, very good job at, because EF were Same time Visma at T2, 6 seconds behind Netcompany INEOS at T2. Still in the game, still with 4.5 riders. And they were quickest T1 to T2 EF. So on the hill zone. And probably they just took full risks on the descent, which you have to do. T2 to the finish. Here we see big differences. Visma take 16 seconds back on Netcompany. I think they've done that in 5 seconds on the flat and 10 seconds on the climb. Is that correct?
So basically at the foot of the climb, Visma Lease Bike was 1 second faster than Netcompany INEOS by the foot of the climb. So that's after the mechanical and so forth, which means that 8 seconds is what Jorgensen took on the final climb on INEOS.
Yeah, so they've taken it back in 2 chunks there, and they did they took the corner well, and then Nordhagen did just a full lead out for Jorgensen. Only and Vokalin did a relay sort of thing. Skjelmoser with Trek, I haven't spoken about Trek, we will get to them. I think they just did a lead out with Skjelmoser, and he was the strongest. I'm trying to look at anyone that cracked and did it bad. Yeah, Bahrain ran out of guys. They were 14th on the fast section. Who was good? Jayco were very good on the fast section. Yeah, EF collapsed on the fast section. They lost 30 seconds to Visma on the fast section because they just ran out of guys and size. UAE were just consistent, to be honest.
Yeah, but consistently not so great. 8th, 9th, 10th in the last portion. Then it's not a great team time trial by UAE, but it's also partially because they don't have the strongest roster here either, in my opinion, for this team time trial, especially with Almeida being not in form too. Movistar had a competent team time trial, kind of what I expected. Now, EF definitely did better than I expected. I expected EF to become maybe 5th or 6th, so that was great. Red Bull was funny because 5K from the finish, I thought, Red Bull, what is this pacing pan? What is this pacing pan?
Yeah.
You got 1 billion riders left. And then the final climb hit, and I saw the ticker at the bottom. I was like, I was wrong. It's over, went to, we're so back.
Well, yeah, because Red Bull were 4th at T1, about, pretty good, where you'd expect them to be. 13 seconds adrift of Netcompany. Again, they've got a lot of good 65 to 70 kilo riders, but they don't have the 80 kilo guys either, like Holer and Tarling and Affini. They then were 8th from T1 to T2, so they kept something in reserve, although they're 8th there, but it's a second behind Decathlon. They were 6th of the same 10-minute segment. Then they were 3rd quickest. They were 3 seconds slower than INEOS from T2 to the finish. And INEOS have got, big guys pulling there. Yeah, so they obviously had a pacing plan to nuke the last hill, and it seems like keeping something for the final hill made a big difference.
We got to keep in mind that T2 to the finish for INEOS is including an only mechanical, eh?
Oh, really? Oh, is that in that phase?
I think it was.
Yeah.
No? It has to be.
That only mech's costing the stage, 100%.
100%, for sure. They were cooking.
Yeah. But still, I think Bora had a negative pacing strategy, a negative, what's it called? Negative split pacing strategy. And they seem to execute it. They do a competent TT, but there's still big gaps. These are big gaps now. I mean, we're looking at Jorgensen takes a minute on Del Toro. Now, in the mountains, it may not matter a bit, but a minute's a minute. And Only already took 12 seconds, right? Only is also a minute ahead of Del Toro because he took 12 seconds on stage 1, and he takes 52 seconds today. He's a minute 4 ahead. And even Baudin is taking another 30 seconds on a lot of riders. Trek, they lose 30 seconds to Visma. They lose another 23 seconds plus the 12. So they're also well over 30 seconds adrift of Only and Vokalin. So I think INEOS of the stage 1 and stage 3, despite the mech, INEOS have really put themselves in the best driver's seat possible in terms of GC with Only and Vokalin. And they had to wait for Only as well. They had to wait for him.
I think the Decathlon made a mistake. What is the lesson that everybody should have learned from Paris-Nice?
Don't wait.
Daan Hole Could have dropped everybody except Success.
They were keeping Prudhomme there, and then he just drops anyway. Like, just have Prudhomme do a death pull on the start of the second climb, because he's just gonna drop.
Or do you think Holler would have then be in trouble?
What? No.
I don't think so either.
Then he has to pull less, and then he can pull the flat.
It's also not 8%. We're not talking about steep climbs, eh?
No, but they kept Prudhomme there, and he just dropped anyway.
Yeah.
So I think, how much has Seychelles lost? 45 seconds.
Yeah. Success did lose 45 seconds. I'm trying to figure out what your meant.
Oh.
Like an insect.
Just we'll see. We've got good stages coming. Well, not maybe the next two stages. Trying to look for anything else interesting in the pacing.
GC,
I should. Alex Baudin still leads, still in the yellow jersey. So EF perhaps right to control yesterday. He is 12 seconds ahead of Only and Vokala. He is 15 seconds ahead of Jorgensen. If there'd been stage win bonuses, he would be like 22 seconds ahead, by the way. So bring back stage win bonuses. And Jorgensen's on 15 seconds. Ayuso, Shkelly are on 47 seconds. We didn't really speak about Trek. I think Trek did a solid TT, but they clearly missed Mads Pedersen or Vacek or Soderfist. Like, they missed that big truck. Shkelly basically did the lead out, and Ayuso couldn't pass him, so I think they also did it fine on the final climb for what they have. Nordhagen's 7th on 50 seconds. Van Gils 56 seconds because he was in that break on stage 1. Amirel, despite dropping them off at the base of the climb, he's on 57 seconds. Rodriguez, 57 seconds. Carlos, that is. And then Seychelles is on a minute to Baudin. Tuckwell, a minute 3. Kian, a minute 7. Del Toro, a minute 16. And yeah, that'll do. That'll do.
So I'm trying to figure something out. To be clear, Red Bull dropped Tuckwell on the last hill, right?
They all sort of got to the last hill and then Finn went as quick as he could. Oh, yeah, Danny Martinez, went full to the line with Van Gils.
Yeah, that's where I think... And Luke Tuckwell just park edgeoed in the last 300 meters. As if he's done his final pull.
Bro,
So
Danny Martinez is on 2 minute 53. Why the fuck is he not pulling before Tuckwell?
To me, it's very clear that...
Tuckwell's their GC guy here.
They literally blew up Tuckwell on the final climb. As in like a planned blow up.
Really? Like he did the lead out?
He did the lead out and went to the side. He was the guy in the white... No, that's Finn. Finn was in the white jersey. You're right.
Finn was in the white jersey.
Tuckwell was the guy behind. I don't know if Tuckwell dropped naturally or not. I don't remember.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I can't tell you.
If he just can't follow the pace of Fisher Black and Martinez, then that's his problem.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But it is strange seeing Danny Martinez like sprinting to stay with Fisher Black. It's like you lost 3 minutes on stage 1.
Yeah.
Like pull on the flat before or something. Or just, it's a bit strange. Because Tuckwell's clearly their GC guy here. Or Van Gils, I suppose.
I think we can a few more times and try to think about a plot line to talk about. But I think the most important plot line is, how does the Tour de France team time trial look compared to this team time trial? Because if we look at that, what's the kilometers on the Dauphiné one? Also 19K?
The Dauphiné one was, 28 Ks.
20, well,
it was longer, much longer.
In my head, it was always 19, but the stage 1 of the Tour de France is a 19-kilometer Barcelona team time trial, and actually the first 80% is relatively flat. Then we've got what? Sorry,
it's flat.
Yeah, it's basically flat. Then the Montjuic climb, 900 meters at 5.4% with about 4.5 kilometers to go. It tops with about 3.5 kilometers to go. Then downhill towards the foot of is that the... Trying to figure out here for a second. Is that the Olympic finish again? What do you call that?
It's a different way up Montjuic, I think. And they use it the next day in the stage.
I could be really stupid. Is this not the something with Olympic, I remember, from this finish?
But isn't Montjuic
from the Vuelta that we watched, that we were literally there.
isn't Montjuic from the Barcelona Olympics? That is the Olympic Stadium or something. Anyway, it's like they go up 900 meters 5.5%, then 800 meters 8%, quite similar to the finish today actually. And we'll see smaller gaps. I mean, it's 20Ks versus 28Ks. It's less climbing in total. The climbing is also at the end of the TTT. I think the climbing at the start of today's TTT made the gaps quite a bit bigger and like affected pacing strategies.
Like, it definitely affects, but to me, the Tour de France one just looks at everybody stays together until the climbs and then absolutely nukes their GC rider up even the second last hill, perhaps.
Yeah, exactly. And it is in the city in Barcelona, but it is like big roads. It's less technical than the start of the Pyrenees TTT. And it's on the big roads in Barcelona city. So I don't think it's particularly technical. They're good to go past Casa Batlló, which is nice. We will be at the TTT. Our hotel, by the way, Benji, is on the TTT course.
Why are we doxing ourselves?
It's 20K TTT. I mean,
our audience will find it.
Yeah, if you put your Strava run up in the morning with no privacy filters. Are INEOS, who's the favorite right now?
It really depends on the teams that will go to the Tour de France, as in the rosters that are set up for the Tour de France.
Ganna's going, right?
Yes. No, I don't know. I assume he went to the Giro, though.
I
assume he does the Tour de France.
How much time UAE should lose time, right? Even if Poggi smashed the last hill, or I think UAE will not. This is not the same UAE team as the Tour de France team, by the way.
For sure,
Tour de France team, they got Poggi. They got Groschartner, who's a fantastic time trial rider. They got Vermeersch. They got Vellens. It's a completely different team. I don't think they're the favorites, but it's hard to predict. Maybe they will run close to the stage. Here they had like Torres, who's like 55 kilos, and Sick Almeida. So.
That is fair. Also, Visma will have change in the squad as well. You, on paper, will see the likes of Sepkus in the roster, and
Vingegaard
for Persson Hagen won't be there, etc. So Vingegaard is obviously a change in that roster as well, obviously, in the same way Pogacar is for UAE.
No spoilers, but Vingegaard should be in there.
The Red Bull team should be a lot better at the Tour de France, at the team time trial.
Remco. How do you do it? How do you
What do you mean? How do you
do a TTT pacing plan with Remco?
As in, you remember the good old days where Remco dropped his team at the team time trials, or?
I got a hot take.
Wait. Before you drop it, I think the way to do so is to do the team time trial at nighttime.
First of all, they should obviously, if there's a storm that day, move the slot, do it in the storm, make sure it's pitch black, turn off all the lights in the city. But I think Bora should legit just do like the first 6Ks where everyone does a 1,000 watts for 30 seconds on the front, and then they just drop, and then Remco does the whole last half of the TT himself.
He can probably do it faster.
I legit think, that not quicker?
Lipovic is there, Patrick. Remco is not obvious leader at the Tour de France.
Okay.
If anything, Lipovic is more proven. Lipovic is the leader.
I forgot.
On paper.
I forgot. Okay, Lippo can come along. So we're going to do Lippo and Remco 2 up TT for like the last 2/3.
I would pay to see one of them drop each other on a team time trial, which
I think Livic's got so many watts. Livic's a good time trial rider. He's got so many watts.
He's fine.
I don't think he's not getting dropped.
I don't think so either. It's a pretty good team time trial roster, though.
Yeah, which big horse?
Cataneo would be there.
Vermeersch, Remco, Lipovic. Jeez, why has everyone got a different jersey in the Tour?
Hindley as Domestique?
Yeah, Hindley, Van Hills, Geordie Mace lead out. That's what I'm saying. I'm going to start with Geordie Mace, right? We can help Geordie Mace prepare for life at Trek. And so he's going to do 1,000 watts for 1 minute off the ramp.
Not 1,500 watts for 50 seconds?
He's not on my level, obviously, but he can do 1,000 for 1 minute.
Yeah.
I can't wait for the Tour TTT. It's so high stakes. The TTTs for the yellow jersey, it's like, yeah, the clue's in the name. The teams can say, we won this, as a team effort.
The Trek team for a team time trial with Pedersen and Vatsek added to it and Krah Andersen. Oh.
Ayuso, Skelly, Vacek, Pedersen, Krah Andersen, and then like I guess
Ciccone,
they don't have any climbers, but like Kamner, Bernard is solid. Scoins.
Like Netcompany INEOS' weakness is not the flat in that team time trial. It's that on the climbs they will lose time to the GC favorites.
I think there's a chance that it's like just Only and Vauquelin after the first climb.
Of course. Like, my theory is that GC riders will be launched on the first climb.
The first one?
Probably. Like, can the rest of UAE do the climbs better than Del Toro and Pogacar combined?
Yeah, but they're a special case.
Even with Visma, Jonas is a pretty good climber.
Yeah, I suppose.
Like, maybe a Jorgensen follows.
No, Yonder and Jorgensen on a 1K 6% punch.
I'm saying they stick together.
Oh, they stick together.
Are you saying that he's going to drop Jonas?
Remember Paris TTT last year?
Yeah.
But I agree, it's going to be really interesting. I can't wait. There's going to be all these learnings, all the little aero engineers, all the data nerds like me, look at what happened in today's TTT. And I think it's, very exciting for the Tour de France. So consider this a prelude. And I think it's INEOS and Visma and maybe Trek, like you say, up there, and UAE if Poggi just dominates.
But okay, team time trial to decide. Tomorrow is stage 4 from Le Puy-en-Velay to Montrond-les-Bains. 170 kilometers, hills throughout the first 70% of the stage, and a flat sprint finish. This could go breakaway, this could go Godon sprint. The problem for Godon is that, what's his competition? Who else will be willing to ride for a sprint?
Well, who?
Kokar Kofferis?
Bling?
Matthews?
Bling was good today.
Don't those teams think, oh, what if I hedge my bets and go in the break with Clap on a stage like that?
Nah, I reckon after Bling's recovery and what I think they are more like we go for Bling today, would be my guess.
Kokkelman for Lotto Intermarché?
Okay. Van Aert of Visma?
Nah.
Nah.
He needs to get to the sprint.
No
offense, but his level today was not good enough for...
Yeah, maybe with Bauhaus with today's level. Who else we got? Who's fast? I wish Binny was here instead of it. Franco Belge. Trenton's like come second in Dauphiné stages before. Can Bauhaus make this? If not, they're going to go for Govakar. I reckon Govakar can sprint for Bahrain.
Yep. Henry Ulich is my pick.
You reckon he can make it around?
Yeah.
You reckon it'll be a sprint?
I'm actually not sure. I generally can't tell you.
I mean,
it's 50-50 break sprint.
I'm looking at Ancorn, Garcia Pierna, Vercher, Frigo, all of FDJ, all of Picnic. I'm looking at breakaway. I mean, I wish Ben Healy, thoughts and prayers for Ben Healy's breakaway ambitions this race. He also would be a good option, but he will not be probably. I think Break's got a good chance. These are hard to control these stages. Yeah. Is Manus Court's not here? Manus Court used to always control these for him.
Golon could be in the breakaway.
Nah.
I don't think they'll do it, but it's a strategy.
No.
Has he literally not won a race like this, or was that Laurence by going in the breakaway?
That was Laurence in Pesasco. I think Break has a decent chance, but I see what you... Yeah, it's going to be a nice battle between the sprinters and the breakaway. I am going to go with... frequent. Is Quinn Simmons, is he allowed or not?
Why would he not be allowed?
For GCO, so he's got to like stay around him, you know?
No, I'm not having that. Ayuso has not looked unbeatable in the last 4 days.
He can also
either.
handle himself.
Yeah, so
I'm going Quinn Simmons from the break.
It's fine. We'll allow it.
Well, you have to. And who you got? You got Godon?
I'm gonna stay with Henry Ulich for the sake of why not.
That's a nice pick.
Lastly, there's a few UCI changes. We're not going to go into that today, but I'll try and prep it for one of the next sprint podcasts, and we can yap about it there, including some sprint-related safety stuff. So, yeah, we can talk about it later, right?
We can indeed. Thanks for listening as always, and we'll see the recap of sort of transition style stage tomorrow. Until then, ciao, ciao.